Hi guys. So our next guest we got Jules. And she's here to talk to us about the Cincinnati Reds. Jules, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just here to do my job, talk about threads. Of course, I'm always positive in public, negative in my own time. But yeah, that's why I'm here.
Awesome.
Yeah. So first off, I just want to ask because I know you are also a Guardians fan, and a couple years ago you had a shirt that said, "I just hope both teams have fun." Um, what can you tell us about that, and what kind of inspired that?
Well, it actually was a sign, but I think you said shirt, but same thing,
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
Um, what inspired it is I, like you said, I do like both teams. I think it's pretty clear what team I may like a little more. I might be wearing them. I don't know why everyone like on Twitter is always like, who do you like more, Jules? What if they played each other in the World Series? Well, one, I think it's obvious, and two, that's never going to happen. But yeah, I went to Target the day before. Actually, no, the morning of that game, and it was originally a rescheduled game. It was supposed to be played way earlier in the summer. It was played in August, which allowed me to actually be able to go, which is my first time I ever saw them play each other in person. So yeah, I guess because I like both teams, that's how the sign came about. I got on the screen a couple times that night, and then after the game, towards the end, I finally got out of the stadium. I didn't have much service. And then everyone's like, oh my God, you were on TV and like you're all over like social media and stuff. And I'm like, what? Like for that
Yeah.
sign, that was not one of my best signs. But honestly, that kind of started the whole sign thing I had going on there for I would say like about a year. I mean, I've definitely calmed down on the sign thing. One, because I don't want to spend money every time on a piece of cardboard and a marker, and also because it's annoying to carry and deal with. And I'm 23. I'm getting a little too old for that, but I don't think
Yeah,
I'm gonna
right.
ever be too old for
Yeah.
signs.
I'm a White Sox fan, and I remember seeing that at the time. And I were like, oh, that's creative, and now you're here, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, did you ever, I don't know, envision when you're younger, I'm gonna get a little bit of fame. It's gonna be for holding a sign. Was that what was in the cards? But
I I never thought like that was like to me the least creative thing I've ever done, and it started more creativity, which is weird,
that
but I don't know how. Like, then I got text like the next day. I don't have Reddit, and this guy was like, "Yo, get on
Mhm.
Reddit because like you're in the baseball subreddit and you're like low key going viral on there too." And I'm like, "What the heck is going
oh, the
on?" For
baseball
I just
subreddit.
hope both teams
Huh.
have fun. Like, it's so not creative.
Yeah. So, the next question I have for you is kind of back to baseball. Um, the Cincinnati Reds have obviously made a lot off-season moves. Um, what do you think is their ceiling for this year? And the Guardians as well, I guess you can answer for both.
I mean, I'm gonna start the Reds just because one, I know more about them, and it's easier to say for them they will do better because to me, like I feel like it's already hard to go 3-22 to start off the season. So I feel like doing that two times in a row, like it's impossible. At least I want to believe that. But if anyone's gonna do it, it's the Reds. But like you said, they did make offseason moves. I know a lot of Reds fans are like, well, what did they do? Like, well, let's be realistic. They're not gonna sign some amazing player who, I mean, who
Hmm.
really wants. I mean, I'm not gonna say that, but they don't have the most impressive resume after last year. No one's gonna be like, ooh, like Cincinnati, but we have to build up to that. But I think our biggest focus, as I feel like everyone knows, is we have a good farm system because of the trades that we made. That even though I may disagree or agree with them, especially the Seattle trades, they did bring us back some good prospects when we got Spencer Steer in return. We already had Ellie De La Cruz. He's amazing. I'm sure you've heard about him. Who else? We got Strand. We got all these people that are really good. Marte, all these really good people. I'm excited. And I know with the Reds, I've been being a Reds fan my whole life. They do tend to do this thing where they start to rebuild, but they don't fully rebuild. And then they just ship everyone off. And then it's the same thing again because they never do a full rebuild. I feel like this time they really are doing a full rebuild where they kicked everyone's ass off the team pretty much. They got rid of Suarez, Sonny Gray. God, like Nick Castellanos. I'm missing Jesse Winker at the beginning of right after the lockout. I was so excited for the lockout to be over, and then I regretted that being excited. But we got rid
Yeah.
of Castillo too. But I mean, you have to do that in order to do a full actual rebuild. I like it. I trust it, and I feel like this year I think they will be 10 or 15 games better. I know that may be a reach, but again, I think the biggest thing last year, obviously, as anyone could say, you don't have to be a baseball expert to say going 3-22 is not going to help your record. They were at 500 from like May, or around 500, just under, from like May to June, July. Like they were playing good baseball in the summer. So I have faith. We'll have Stevenson back. He was injured. Joey Votto, I mean, obviously he's not at his peak anymore. He's getting older, but he'll be back. And Jonathan India, hopefully. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I don't know why
I think there's room for optimism because
Yeah.
obviously the Reds had a rough year last year, but like you said, it's a full rebuild. You never know when those young guys are finally going to hit it and get going. And also the fact that like the NL Central is not like some powerhouse either. You got the extra wild card too, but like you got the Cardinals who do spend. They spent for Goldschmidt, they spent for Arenado,
I hate them.
but yeah, I bet you. Yeah, I bet. But like outside of that, there's not like huge competition. So I see room for optimism. You brought up Votto. I did want to ask about that. I've heard some rumor or some talk about, obviously, when that Hall of Fame announcement comes, as the Reds fan, is that the biggest no-brainer ever, or what do you think?
That's the biggest no-brainer ever. I don't see how you can disagree that he's not a Hall of Famer. And there's literal Reds fans, and I feel like it's like weird. Like most Twitter, like Reds fans, like we all love Votto. But if you go on Facebook, like Joey Votto, don't go on Facebook because these little old heads do not like you.
The
Because
one reason why I've heard that is because of his decline. Like you said, he declined, and that's what is in people's recent memory. But yeah.
Yeah, but it's also like everyone has a decline. I feel like that's normal.
Yeah.
He was also playing through whatever injury. But I think I know we're on this Joey Votto talk, but something else I forgot to mention is our pitching core of Lodolo, Green, and Ashcraft. They're all young. They all did great last year. I mean, Hunter Green, although we lost, he did throw a no-hitter last year. We managed to lose the game, but it's fine. It was technically a no-hitter. No one hit the ball, even though it wasn't, but it was because the Pirates won without actually recording a hit. But besides that, I mean, obviously pretty impressive. I don't see, we lost 100 games. There's going to be negativity, but I think we're finally doing something right. And I'm going to say we, because I know there's people out there like, you're not on the team. Well, I pay their bills. So I'm going to say we.
Yeah, I completely understand that. That's been a topic going around. Is it your right to say we when talking about a sports team? I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and
actually,
you brought it
I
up a
found
little
one more interesting thing about your account is that you threw out the first pitch one time, right?
Oh yeah, I did do that. Everyone I did. So being a Reds fan, and not to be that person that has a following, there's already not that many Reds fans with the big presence. We're a small market team, so therefore it's harder to do that. Like we're a small city, so whatever. But yeah, I know people, and people that work for them know me as well. So my friend Carson, who was interning with them at the time, I actually was just out to eat with him that week. And I don't know why the topic of first pitch was brought up. And I tweeted it multiple times, like throughout the season, like it would be really cool to throw out the first pitch because I've seen other teams like let their fans do it. And then literally that Thursday or Friday, I think it was Thursday. He was like, hey, I'm doing first pitch this week. Like I'm in charge of it, and it's lucky fan first pitch. So he like gets to choose, which like never happens. It's usually already scheduled. So he's like, I want to choose you if it's still like, if nothing changes. And it was perfect because my family was already coming up there to go to the game with me that Saturday. So it just all worked out. It was the coolest thing ever. And I asked him, I was like, so do I get to choose who catches? And he said, well, sometimes it's a mascot, but usually, you can choose whoever. And I chose my dad because he's the reason I'm a Reds fan. And I would like to argue I'm a bigger Reds fan than him at this point. I'm pretty obsessed.
Yeah. So obviously you didn't really get much practice. You had a week. So you just kind of went in there, just
I had 2 days to mentally prepare. And I have anxiety. So like, the thought of like doing that, like right. I would have never, like I would have been terrified if I was in high school. Like I was a shy kid, and I've grown out of my shell obviously a lot more, but it was still scary, and I didn't want to let that ruin my experience. So I asked him, I was like, hey, I'm not trying to throw the first pitch like 50 Cent did. I'm not trying to be on ESPN or Sports Center, not top 10.
Who was the Rays one? Like one of the singers a long time ago. I forget. Did it like throw it right at the ground? I forget, but
yeah, 50 Cent has like the one that's like terrible. I'm sure there's other people, but I asked him, I was like, can I switch up a little bit? Like, I don't have to throw from the mound, right? And like, yeah, you don't have to. Like, I know I could, but with the nerves and the fact that this is like a literal dream come true, I just wanted to throw a strike, because if I didn't, or like if I didn't get it to the glove, I would have never heard the end of it from Twitter. Never. They would have been roasting me just like they roast my field goal attempts.
So wait, did you get a strike? We got
it was a strike. I called a strike. Awesome. I was a pitcher in softball too, so
okay.
I obviously threw it overhand. So I know what's a strike. It was 100%. I believe.
Yeah, you can say we. I think you can say we. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everyone's like, we're 1-0 when I threw the first pitch, so I should throw it every time.
Dang.
Yeah. So my next question and my final question was, who do you think is the favorite to win the World Series?
I do that because I don't know. Well, I hate the Astros.
Me too.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'll repeat. Didn't the Yankees lose a few people, or am I wrong? Did they lose any notable people during the offseason?
They didn't have a huge offseason compared to people. Yeah, like compared to the Mets got a lot more. Yeah.
But man, I hate both the Mets and the Yankees. But I don't think that. Well, I'll say one thing. No offense to Philly fans, but I don't think they're gonna make it back. I feel like it's probably gonna be the Yankees, even though that pains me to say it. I believe the Yankees are gonna win the World Series. most likely. I don't know. I don't like that. The Guardians. I don't know how far they're gonna make it. I mean, they were definitely a shocker team. Obviously, the Guardians were not predicted to even make the playoffs. They weren't predicted to even finish first in their division. I think they were predicted to literally finish second to last. So that was like their big push, is everyone doubting them. And I think the preseason had them, I think, only above the Royals, maybe, which doesn't take much, but or the Tigers. Who knows? I don't know. But
yeah.
So
we'll make our World Series picks in a couple weeks with the whole MLB breakdown video. Make sure to tune in for that. Jules, it was good having you on though, and we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, good to have you on.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry if I talk too much. I love the
You're
Reds.
all good. That's what we're here for. It's a talk show. Yeah. Yeah.